Hi folks, it's just gone 11 o'clock, so out for walkies for the doggies. Well, I had the filling station thing again tonight, so that's why I did the video early on today. Christmas time. Oh, not again. Oh dear, not again. Yeah. Oh dear. Yes. And it's the same thing again. Person speaking was okay. It was lukewarm again. Nothing really great, but okay. It was the same rubbish, really. Yeah. Yeah, I watched it, but yeah. Yeah. Oh dear. So there you go. Same sort of rubbish again. That's why the church is rubbish. Because people let us. Yeah. There you go. Well, I mean, the bloke mentioned he was talking about the birth of Christ and saying it has no meaning if you don't have the crucifixion. Yeah, we all knew that already. We're all Christians, don't you know that? Most of us are Christians. Most of us understand that. Even the people that aren't Christians did a bit of religious education at school. They know that already. Any sort of ministry has to be twofold. It has to be God-led. That's only the first point. It has to be God-led. If God isn't leading it, if God isn't telling you what to say, giving you the words to say basically, then shut up and go home. Pack it in. I even messaged the person who was speaking and just said, look, yeah, okay, you can give a nice message. Yes, it looks like you've been trained by some sort of Bible college. You can give a nice, pleasant message, lukewarm. But can you bring the fire? Can you have a message that can bring the fire? If not, pack it in and stop pretending that you're being led by God. Stop pretending that you're called to do this because you're not. It's as simple as that. If you're not called to do it, shut up. Simple. If you're not called to do it, shut up. I'm not talking about if you're not trained by some worldly college. Again, that's a college. College is a worldly system. It's a demonic system that's training people to spit out this crap. This lukewarm crap. This lukewarm stuff that's encouraging. It's never going to be challenging. But it's encouraging and it's comfortable and it's nice. Right, okay, yeah. Lovely. Nice. I'm sorry, but I did a message yesterday where I talked about being offended. That I find incredibly offensive. All of that sort of stuff I find to be incredibly offensive. As a Christian, look at it from a spiritual point of view. I mean, that whole thing tonight, with them talking about, oh, here we are, close to December the 25th, the day when the Lord was born. Do you think God was impressed by that in any way, shape or form? Do you think God was like, wow, I'm really honoured that they were doing that tonight? If not, what the heck were you doing? Do you not think that the Lord should be honoured? Do you not think the Lord should be thinking, well, I'm really pleased they met tonight. That was fantastic. That was really good. That was good to see. They're actually focusing. They're learning things. They move forward. In what way has this moved forward in any way, shape or form? Think about last year. What were you doing last year to what you're doing now? Yeah, you might have met last year. You did because I was there. But was the message, any of it, better this year than it was what it was last year? In any way, shape or form? Was it learned? Was it improved in any way? No. It wasn't. Go back 10 years ago. Is it better now than when it was then? It's the bloody same, isn't it? It's the same stuff. It's just the same stuff regurgitated year after year after year. Come on. And the message, it was nice. It was lukewarm. Messages have to be led by God. We need to hear, what does God want to say to us right now? I don't care about the date. If the date wasn't mentioned in the Bible and we're not told to celebrate it in the Bible, what are you doing? I'm just regurgitating what I said earlier. Well, that's because it's that important. What are you doing? You have an opportunity to bring something from God tonight. Something that's important. Something that might never have been brought before. Something that God wants to say to us right now. That could reach into the hearts and minds of the people that are watching. God speaking to them tonight. Instead, that's what you bring. The same as you always do. Lukewarm, nothingness. It's not going to offend, but it's not going to challenge. It's sort of in the middle of the road, isn't it? As they always are, in the middle of the road. Middle of the road means what? Lukewarm. Look at what the Bible says about lukewarm. Look at what Revelation says about lukewarm. Jesus Christ. When are these people going to learn? It was at the filling station that the prophecy came that in a year's time, God's going to turn the church around, and the people that are in the way have got to either get out the way or get right with God. And you're still in the bloody way. You still haven't gone out the way, have you? Or got right with God. You're still in the blinking way, bringing lukewarm rubbish. That's what you're doing. Still, a year later, the message was delivered in this particular filling station place. And they're still bringing the same lukewarm stuff. A year later, they're basically saying to God, go on in, do it, get us out of the way, I dare you. That's what they're doing. They're saying, go on, God, get us out of the way, I dare you. They're relying upon God being the silent God that he's been for the past, God knows how long. They're relying upon that, continuing. Where God continues to basically ignore what his people are doing with his church. I say his people because I'm not totally sure they are. Because if they can't be bothered to actually go to him and say, what do you want us to bring? Then come on. Yeah, I'm not just talking about the people at the filling station. The person who spoke tonight, Dr. I can't remember what his name was. Him as well. Him as well. He's someone who also has to go to God and say, what do you want me to bring tonight? What did you want me to say? I mean, look, I've said all the way along, I'm not perfect in this way. Not in any way, shape or form. I'm not perfect. I don't get it spot on all the time. No way, shape or form. I don't. I don't. I try. Like tonight, I knew at 3 o'clock what the message would be today. I knew. Even before I watched that thing, I knew that the message would be that. The message would be the point of what the messages should be. You know, whoever is the speaker, what should that be? Where should it be coming from? It has to come from God. So, there you go. Number 1 point. Second point is, the person tonight mentioned meaningful. Well, of course, every message has to be, I wouldn't necessarily use the word meaningful. It has to speak into the lives of people. I'm not talking about the lives of people that lived 2,000 years ago. It has to speak into the lives of people now, today. If it's God-led, if God is giving you that word, it's going to be a word for the people listening. A few people, at least, one person, is going to be absolutely amazed by that message. It's going to speak into their life as if God has just knocked on their door. When they've opened it, God has said a message directly to them. That's what it should be every single time. That's what it should be. What it is this lukewarm crap. When I say that's what it should be every time, you're aiming for that. That's what you're aiming for. Every time you're aiming so that God will give you something. You will speak when God gives you something to say. But you won't speak otherwise. That's what you're aiming for. Now, sometimes you will. Sometimes you will say stuff. Sometimes you'll get it in your head that maybe God has given you this to say, and you'll say it. And you'll realise later, God, that wasn't you giving me that, was it? Yeah, I need to apologise for that. If that's on video, you need to remove that. It's like when I do these videos, I go home, I edit them. Quite often I take things out. Most often I take things out. Most often I go back, I listen to it. Right, okay, let's cut it there. Cut that bit out because that was just me rambling. And then I get back to it. Then later on in the walk, I get back to what God was telling me to talk about. So that's cool. I can then start it again. So cut out the bits in between. The boys are playing with the swing. That's something they used to play with on a regular basis, yeah. Alright. Come on, this way. Smiley Riley. Come, baby. But yeah, we need to hear from God. We need to hear what God has to say. So basically, although I said, the messages have to be speaking to people, they're going to be. Because if God has given you the words, then it's up to God to make sure that He's giving what needs to be given to the people. Where'd you get out of the water now? Mollie Collie, get out of there now. Bad girl. Wait, Dozy, I've got to lift you into the car, haven't I? I've got to lift you into the car, so stay out of the water, you donut. Blinking Nora. Oh, it's drained. That area is pretty much drained now. Pretty much. Obviously not there. No, they're walking through that, but this area that was really bad for the past sort of 5 nights is pretty much, there's a walkway through it now. Last night there was a little island of pavement. Now there's a little island of water. So in the middle. So it's better. It's improving. Oh yeah, we'll be able to walk around twice tonight, so we'll do that. Yeah. Now, in the end, what matters is we need to get to the point where we are actually vessels for God. And the point of it is, the people that are speaking are not allowing themselves to be used as vessels by God. They're making sure that they are in control of what they're doing. They're the ones who prepare the message. They're the ones who make sure the message is fitting for this time of the year and for what they want to bring. It's fitting with their theology and all that rubbish. What theology? What do you want about theology? Drop all that crap. Now, that puddle was all the way down here. This puddle was still here. So, yeah, that's the one that I was talking about last night. But actually, that was all the way down here at one point. So it's better. This part has dried up a bit. It ain't perfect, but it's dried up a bit. So there you go. It's better, it's an improvement. So there you go. And that's the little island I was talking about yesterday. That bit there. But there's still loads of water there. There's a puddle right there with a bottle right in the middle. I'm surprised Lucy hasn't gone in for it. Yeah, we're supposed to be vessels. Have you not read? Oh, Jesus. Have people not bothered to read scripture? Of course, they read the bits that they like, don't they? Eh? You know, the fluffy wuffy Christianity, mercy and grace that basically tells them they don't need to do anything at all. You know, God's done it all, and you know, God's going to do it all for them. Don't you worry. And the problem is, there's a whole other side there. There's other scriptures that don't say that. The problem is, you're only looking at part of it. Wait, Mollie, come on. Come on, baby, go. Come on, Amber. Hello. How you doing? Your collar's gone off, hasn't it? Come here. Try and put your collar back on. Maybe it needs to be charged, I don't know. Come here. Nutter. No, your collar needs to be charged. I charged a few of the collars a day, but I charged the wrong ones on clearly because Amber's one was working okay last night. I charged hers. I charged Riley's. Yeah, Mollie's the one that isn't working. She's always the one that's behind. Smiley. Wait. Mollie. Nice chance. When I call you, I shouldn't have to call you twice, should I? You should know better. Go on you go. You are 4 years old after all. You should know better now. He's been with me for 4 years, so yes, you should know better by now. But there you go. Look, folks, we are supposed to be vessels. We're supposed to be vessels that God can use. We're supposed to be able to be moulded in His image and His ways, where He can use us to bring people to Him. Oh, but of course, my Lord Yeshua, I pray now that you will do what was promised last year. That you will get these people out of the way that are in the way. These people that want to bring lukewarm messages, get them out of the way, Lord. Completely. Just get them out of the way. Get them out of the church. Just get them out. I mean, that they obviously they have no intention of getting right with you. None at all. They've shown that. They don't have any intention. Riley, no, I don't want it. Take it. I don't want it. Oh, Lord. I can't for a second, not for a second, try to understand your level of frustration, Lord. That when you look at this, like the sort of stuff that was provided tonight, I mean, you must be so incredibly disappointed. So incredibly disappointed with these people that say that they are yours. You are theirs. That they love you. Love is evidence-based. Love is the same as everything. It's not what you say, it's what you do. And Lord, what they do says, what they care about is not offending people. They care about being liked. They care about bringing messages that are easy to handle, like milk. Very milky messages. You know, babies need milk. And the problem is that again, this is all a case of, because they don't want to offend anyone, they bring milky messages, because milky messages are what babies can handle. Meat, babies struggle with meat. So therefore babies might be upset if you bring meat. So therefore they bring milk. The problem is, older, more mature Christians need meat. But oh no, we can't bring meat. Meat could be offensive to those who are babies. Then let the babies go somewhere else to be fed until they're ready to eat meat. Yeah? There's just too much left-wing fear of offending people. Yeah, the church is not supposed to be left-wing or right-wing. It's supposed to be nothing of this world at all. In the world, but not of it. So taking little worldly bits, little worldly understandings, little worldly offences, and no. Stop taking that stuff. Stop using that stuff. Lord, we need your help. If this is the best they can give, they need to stop. They need to be shut down. If this is the best they can give, they're never going to do better, are they? They've had time to show they can do better. They've had time. Shut them down. Some people would say it's better to have lukewarm than nothing at all. Lord, no. It's far better to have nothing at all, because at least there's a gap now that somebody who could bring something far better might then want to fill. At the moment, when people think that that's being filled, that gap, maybe they don't try to fill it. So it's, yeah, I don't know. Lord, I don't know. I mean, it's going to have to be your will, not mine. Of course it is. It's your will, not mine. But please, if there's a prophecy that can be true, let that one be true. That the year is up. You're going to get these people out of the way now. Get them right with you if you can. But I don't think that's very likely. They've had a year. They were in there at the time when the prophecy was given. They were there. And they still think that this is good enough. This lukewarm stuff is good enough. Christians are supposed to be radical in this world. It's supposed to be radical. It's supposed to be something that is offensive to the world. You're bringing light in darkness. That should be offensive to those in darkness. Truth should be offensive to those who are trying to hide from truth. Calling a liar a liar. Of course, that liar then says, "How dare you call me a liar?" Well, your answer could be, "Well, how dare you be a liar?" That's fair, isn't it? But the problem is, no, we can't call people a liar because that's offensive. What if that person is a liar? What are you going to do? Oh, we won't say anything. It's a sin what they're doing, but we won't say anything, even though they're lying. It's a sin, but that's not saying anything, just in case we offend them. So it's better that person goes to hell than you say anything that could offend them. That's the sort of Christianity you're teaching younger people. Get you? You're teaching younger people that it's better to let people go to hell than to say something that could be offensive to them. Because they might get offended by you saying this thing. And, you can't have that. No. Your conscience can't have you offending somebody. You can have them going to hell, but not you offending them. No. 1 second. Again, what I just said there. Some people will be shocked by that. How dare you say that people are behaving in that sort of manner? How dare people behave in that sort of manner? Look, it's a damn sight worse for people to behave in that sort of manner than it is for me to say people are behaving in that sort of manner. Far worse. But of course people will pick up on the fact, well, how dare you say that? How dare you accuse people of that? How dare people do that? How dare you claim to be a Christian? How dare you be teaching the younger generation this demonic version of Christianity? And yes, it's a demonic version of Christianity if you're teaching them not to offend people. That's worldly. The world belongs to the devil, it doesn't belong to God. It belongs to the devil. And if you're teaching them things according to the devil's ways of trying to make the world mad, either the extreme left or the extreme right. See, sorry, the video I did the other night, I was talking about the extreme right and how the extreme right is wrong. The left in the church is also wrong. That's worldly rubbish. You're bringing that into spiritual, or trying to. You're corrupting the church with this stupidity. Stop it. There's a lot of anger in me with regards to this stuff, because you bring people into the kingdom of God. When they come into the kingdom of God, they've got to go into a church. Look at what they're going into. Is that sort of Christianity, that sort of teaching of Christianity, is that going to help them to glorify God in their lives? No. Is that going to help them to be set free from the things that the devil's going to try and use to drag them down? No. Because of course, in that sort of church, you can't tell people they've got stuff in them that the devil can use to bring them down, because you're talking about sin, you're talking about habits, you're talking about, that sort of rubbish. Now, of course, people don't want to hear that, because you're saying to people, you're not perfect. You're messed up. You're damaged. Somebody might get offended by that. So, of course, you can't offend people, so you can't say any of that, can you? So people are not going to get set free. If people aren't being set free in the church, we're going to have the same old rubbish for the next 40, 50 years. Sorry, video ended there. Anyway, come here. This way. This way. Come on. People that go to church need to be helped. We need the church to be a functioning body that can help to set people free. Amber, come here now. We're going this way. People need to be set free. You have people that have come out of a world situation that have carried with them a lot of habits and bad ways of doing things, and bad ways of thinking, bad ways of behaving. They need help to be set free from all that, to have their minds renewed, to have the old man die. And aren't these things that really we should be talking about in the church a lot more? The old man has to die. What does that mean? Oh. Every month I see these sort of things, and it enrages me when I see it, because it's not what we need. Not in any way, shape or form. It's not what we need. We need to hear from God. Well, for example, I mean, the Christmas story. Okay. God saw that people were lost. It wasn't just the point of the Roman Empire and what the Roman Empire were doing to the world, it was also the point that, the Jewish belief system, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to help people to get to God. Few and far between ever got there. Most people failed miserably. And the Lord knew that would be the case anyway. And the Lord also knew that so far he had a covenant, and that covenant was with Jews. But there was a whole world of people. And so God knew, even before that, yes, my son has to come down. My son has to go down and have a new covenant. A covenant which is based on relationship with him. And that through him, people get to me. Through what he does, not through what they can do. And so, he was born in a lowly position, not even the position of a king, but born in a stable, like a commoner. And of course, he was God, became man. So, his job was to teach and to start up this belief system that would end up being his church, his new covenant church. And this is what I've been speaking about tonight. Speaking about with a degree of anger. That would be true to say, yes. Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to pretend that isn't true, no. Because that is perfectly true. I am quite disgusted with what I see. I'm not impressed in any way, shape or form. But so many people do get impressed by it. So that's what is so disappointing. So incredibly disappointing. How on earth other people aren't, pulling out their hair at what they see? I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. They tell the Christmas story. They speak about this Lord and what he died for. So Easter, they talk about him dying. But what he came for and what he died for was the same thing. Apparently, us. And look at what we're doing with it. Yeah. How proud are you? Well, even the point, come on. With the person who was speaking today, with the people I've always seen, people I see that have spoken about the Christmas message, none of them have even looked at the word. Christ Mass. See, this is where the Roman Catholic Church made a mistake. When they took over the pagan festival and said, okay, you've got to be Catholics. We're going to call this Christ Mass Day. Of course, Mass is important to them. But Mass means celebration. Christ Celebration Day. So, talk about that. What is there to celebrate? How would you celebrate Christ? Talk about that. How would you, the person who's speaking tonight, how would you celebrate Christ on that day? That is a far more interesting message than the one you bought. Oh. He even tried to make a joke. Oh, Jesus. He even tried to make a terrible blinking joke, saying if the wise men were women, they would have got there on time because they would have asked for directions. Are you trying to be a comedian, are you? Well, it looks like you failed at that as much as you did as failing to be a minister of God. Well, at least you failed at everything equally. Well done. And he tried a few jokes. Yeah. And there would have been people laughing. So funny. Oh, if they were women, they would have been there on time. No. They wouldn't. If they were women, they would probably have told blinking Herod where they were going, because they wouldn't have been able to stop gossiping. Maybe that is another joke, you can tell. Maybe not, because maybe that's unkind to women. The same as you were trying to be all this pro-women. Yeah, men are nasty, men are evil. Again, leftists. Let's big up women, eh? Let's say women are wise, eh? Oh, Jesus. When I say people are wise, people can be wise. Yeah, God. I ask for directions when I need them. Yeah, I do. I ask for directions a lot when I need them. I don't go wrong on purpose. Why did they go wrong, the wise men? Because they were trying to mislead Herod, right? Wasn't that the wise thing to do? So the men were wise. The women would have just led Herod straight to him, so that all would have been killed. Well done. Great flipping idea that was, yeah. Yeah, let's change it to 3 wise women and have the Lord killed early by Herod. Fantastic. Yeah, then where are we? Look. That joke annoyed me. Yes, it did. And to be honest, if it was women, the women would have done probably exactly the same as the men. Because the men were guided by God. The women would have been guided by God. Right? Oh. Stop trying to be a comedian. If you're called by God, if you are called by God to, bring his message to people, that's a big enough job in itself. Stop trying to be a comedian at the same time. Stop trying to make it funny. Why are you trying to make it funny? That's where you know the bloke was trained in some blinking Bible college. Because he's been trained to present a message. A bit of humour, shove that in there as well. Oh. Can we have some people, please, that have been trained by God? Rather than morons who have been trained by some bloody college that's more likely to be demonic than it is to be godly. Look at what it's produced. So that whole system, the kind of system, is a way to educate people. It's a worldly system. The world belongs to the devil. It's a devil's system, therefore. So therefore, why is the devil going to make sure that these Bible colleges are putting forth some wonderful teachers? It's not going to happen, is it? Not if it is a devil. Okay, Mollie, you nick it. I was just going to pick it up and throw it. And Mollie nicked it, didn't you? Did you nick it? Okay, Mollie Coddy, you nicked it. Well done, Babs. Okay, Mollie Coddy. I've never seen her move so fast. Okay. I'm not going to argue with that. Oh, dear. Folks, look, I hope that the people who are in the way get right with God. I really do. I hope they all get right with God. Do I think that's likely? No. No. And certainly, if it's the case, look, I'll be honest with you. If I was given an option, these people that are in the way, they're going to need another year to get right with God, so God's not going to change the church for another year, or God just gets them out of the way and leaves them behind. Sorry, folks, God gets them out of the way and leaves them behind. We need to move forward. We need to move forward. We need to move forward with God. We need to move forward in a way that we've got this church. And it's a fantastic, wonderful church. That's what we need. What we don't need in any way, shape or form is for this rubbish to continue. Because it's not good. At all. Where's your other bottle, Mollie? You had it. Where's it gone? Chewie hasn't got it, has he? You left it somewhere. Where's your other bottle, you nutter? You had it. You're a donut, ain't you? Hey? You nicked it off Riley. Here, nick that one as well. Here you go. Okay. How's Amber? How you doing, Bubs? Amber, stop trying to eat rubbish. Yeah, we need to move forward. We need to move forward with God. We need to move forward so that there's a massive blinking harvest. Ready. What do we bring them into? What do they deserve, those people? Yeah, these people that are in the way, that won't get out of the way, right? These people that won't get right with God. I'm sorry, folks. There's billions of people that are waiting to be brought into God's kingdom. Right? Quite possibly billions of people waiting to be brought into God's kingdom. Do they have to wait for you to get ready? Should they have to wait for you to get ready? Step aside. Step aside. And I say, if what is being brought is the best you can bring, if that is the best you can do, then you have to step aside. Because what you're bringing is not good enough. Not in any way, shape or form. It's not good enough. It's bad. Really blinking bad. Folks, look. It's difficult. It is difficult because you're talking about people. You're talking about people that might very well be nice people. And you can't blame them for the understanding they have because that's what they've been taught. Yeah? People don't just become that way. They've been taught that they've learned that. That's what they've learned. That's the reality, isn't it? If they've learned that, well then, okay, that's what they've learned. So, but they've got a choice. I learned stuff. I had to relearn. I had to understand that maybe what I'd learnt wasn't right. I had to relearn stuff. I had to be corrected. Being corrected isn't easy, I know that. I did a message recently about, learning. And of course somebody then came and challenged me on that. And when I knew straight away by the challenge that this person is one of these people that is sort of, because by even what they said in the message, they're basically saying, God's going to do it all. We don't need to worry. We're covered by God and God's going to do everything for us and we don't need to do anything, so don't worry. But don't judge people. So, excuse me, it's not judging people, it's saying we've got a problem we need to fix. And if what we're getting isn't good enough, if what we're getting is lukewarm, which is according to the Bible, the stuff that the Lord is going to puke out of his mouth because he's disgusted by it, we need to do better. Right, Peter is one of these characters in the Bible that would be an incredibly annoying character. An incredibly annoying character. But God loved him. Right, the Lord loved him. Why? Because he tried to be hot. Sometimes he completely missed and ended up being freezing, blinking cold. Video ended again there. Yeah, I was going to say, Peter, he failed so often. So the people of those days must have been thinking sometimes, not disciples, you think you're so clever, you think you're so big, the way you always put yourself forward, and then you go and say the stupidest thing, and then getting rebuked by the Lord because, you just have to be the one, don't you, to say it. But that's the point. He wasn't concerned about what other people would think about him, Peter. He kept on going forwards, even though he had often got it wrong. He still kept on going forwards, didn't he? He didn't care what people thought, but he tried to be hot. Problem is, at the moment, we've got people that wouldn't even try to be hot. Because the problem with hot is hot may be offensive to someone. It's like, for example, you've had people in mainly America, this is, who have sued McDonald's because they bought a apple pie from McDonald's and bit into it straight away and burnt their tongue and got offended that they bought something from McDonald's supposed to be a hot thing and it was what? Hot. So they've sued McDonald's because it was hot and they've won. They've actually won. Because the problem is McDonald's didn't realise that people were that flipping stupid. That they're going to just bite into it straight away without realising this could be flipping hot. And burnt themselves. So now McDonald's has had warnings everywhere saying, things in here could be hot. Oh dear. There you go. Madness, isn't it? But yep, we need hot, and we need lots of hot. We've had far too much lukewarm. We need hot, even if we get a bit of cold thrown in with it. Lukewarm is worth as much as cold. Not worth any more, is it? It's worth as much as cold. So, yeah. Can't be bothered with it, really. So you might as well just have some cold with a load of hot. Come here. It's a fiesta. Come on. No, here. This way. Come. This way. Yeah. We need people that are brave. We need people that are not concerned about whether they cause offence. As long as they're being obedient to God, they're not concerned whether they're causing offence because they're just being obedient to God. And that's what matters. What matters is God says do, they do. They don't care about the consequences because the consequences is not their business. It's God's business. Problem is, at the moment, you've got people that are too concerned about the consequences. Too concerned about any negative consequences. Any negative feedback is bad. No, it isn't. Let God deal with it. That's the point. Let God deal with it. It's fine. Negative feedback is fine. It's not your problem. Okay? If you are a vessel for God to use, and God chooses to use you in a certain way, and people get offended by that, that's not your problem. God chose to use you in that way, that's fine. Let God deal with it. That's his problem. Not yours in any way, shape or form. So let God deal with it. That's the thing, that's the key, isn't it, really? I get back to the first point. Anyone speaking has to be speaking from the point of view that God has given them the thing to say. And not 2 weeks earlier on that day. If it's given by God, it's going to have an impact on the people that it's given to. Now, sometimes that impact will be glorious. You know, sometimes it'll be the case where people will be giving their lives to God because of the message you've given. You know, sometimes it'll be a case where someone who has been a Christian for years and didn't know how to break free from the situation they're in, broke free from the message you bring. Because God gives them, in that message, the code they need to break free. Right? Sometimes it's going to be a case where someone's going to get offended, or a number of people might get offended by it because God's trying to show something up in them, and he uses the offence to show that up. But you know what? It's still going to bless that person, because if that person takes notice of God and what God's trying to tell them, they get blessed by that, don't they? Which is good. So, just let God lead and guide you. Let God take care of the consequences. They're his. They're his anyway. If it's his message, then the responsibility for that message is his. Everything that comes from that is his. So put it this way. If the glory of that, if the message is wonderful and people are blessed by it and they want to glorify someone, are you going to take the glory? If you're not going to take the glory, why should you take the criticism? Why should you be the one to suffer the consequences of anyone who's hurt by or offended by what you say, if God has given you the thing to say? If you're not going to take the blessing, you shouldn't take the curse either. So, there you go. I'm going to leave you to it now, because I'm going to take the doggies home. And I will edit this and try and put it together in a way that's going to be wonderful. So, we'll see what happens with that. You take care, God bless. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.